Welcome back again, guys. So we're gonna have a guest feature today. This is my wife's best friend's husband, and my also friend, Austin. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So what were you just saying about parenthood? It'd be fun to have these conversations, like in.
Yeah, and so having these conversations now, because we kind of always have these thoughts about kind of what's going on in the world, politics, culture, and stuff like that. Being able to kind of go back and seeing yourself flesh out these arguments, discussions, just on the internet, and being able to kind of straighten yourself, because we always kind of forget what exactly what we said, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to contradict yourself or be called a hypocrite, and so you kind of go back and look at what you said based on whatever subject. And so that's
Well, you're never gonna be right 100% of the time.
no.
It is fun though. It's nice to get to look back when we started doing the vlogs and stuff. I didn't realize how much fun that was gonna be. Sometimes it sucks a little bit. You look back and you're like, wow, dude, was I that dumb as a
That's something
21-year-old, 22-year-old?
something to learn from, though, right?
It is.
You
Yeah,
can
it
look
is.
back and be like, man, my views were they're kind of effed a little bit, and I'm glad I've learned and grown from that point, right? And you kind of look back and instead of just seeing what you said back then, you can see like, hey, I've kind of grown as a person.
Yeah. Well, like one of my biggest fears is I don't want to become. I feel like a lot of, I guess like not elderly people, but just older people kind of have this. I'm set in my ways. This is what I experienced in life.
Mm-hmm.
So this is exactly how everything is. Like, I don't feel like they keep a very objective, like, point of view where you're open to having your mind changed if new information comes to light. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, we have to trust what the food pyramid says because the food pyramid was studied by experts and X, Y, and Z and all that. But, like, hey, man, if putting pesticides or whatever is on food is bad, maybe we shouldn't do as much of that. Maybe we should find a different pesticide. Like, let's be open to changing your mind a little bit. Like, Annie just changed her mind on hanging out with me.
What is this? I tried to get her to jump up in my lap like 20 minutes ago. She wouldn't do.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, the ladies, you gotta, the less interest you show, the more they show into you, right?
Always works. Worked with Dana.
See, I started petting her, and she was like, "Nah, you know what? I'm out of here."
Yep, too much attention. Just ignore me.
If this was a dating podcast, what the advice I'd give out to those young men out there, don't show any interest. Be yourself.
That's interesting.
Don't go out of your way to try and impress the ladies. Just if you're yourself, yeah, they enjoy the chase just as much as you enjoy the chase.
Is that what you did with Aaron? How did you meet Aaron?
Okay. So the way I met Aaron, so I don't know how far back I want to go. But basically, so after high school, I went over to Iowa Western Community College. I wanted to be a firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of family friends who were captains, ended up being battalion chiefs in Omaha Fire. So growing up in that culture, I thought, that's, they're all healthy, in shape. They help the community. What's better than that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They make good money. And so I went over to Iowa Western, got into their program, and shortly found out that that program was really meant for firefighters who have already gotten in, and it was to kind of expand their knowledge of firefighting. Not to say that I was a terrible student as well. It was more, if anything, it was more of an excuse for me to kind of get out and try a different school.
Yeah.
And so I did. I went over to Southeast Community College in Lincoln, Nebraska, where a lot of my high school friends were going to the University of Lincoln. It was in the same city.
Mm-hmm.
So got transferred over to that program. That program was a lot better. They actually had a tower there. They had an engine. They had all the equipment. Like I got my Nebraska Firefighter 1 while I was there. and a bunch of other stuff.
I don't know anything about firefighting. What's a tower?
Okay, so the training tower, it's the one at Southeast Community College. It actually gets used by Lincoln Fire as well, and all the surrounding volunteer fire departments. It's just a training facility that's it's a concrete structure that one was 3 stories tall. I've seen other ones that are 4 in and around Nebraska. Concrete structure that they can put pallets in and burn the pallets and basically simulate a structure fire.
Oh wow!
And so there's steps and everything, and you kind of simulate that whole experience, and that's where you get your training from. And so this school had all the equipment and everything. I got all my certifications through the first year. So back to how I met Aaron. So that's how I get. That's how I got to Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
Was through the firefighter training at SEC, and while I was there, since all of my high school buddies were also there taking classes in Lincoln, I met. I was staying in a off-campus housing, and ended up with some of my high school friends, 2 of my high school friends, and one guy, because this was their second year in college, right? And this was their first year in this domicile, and they met somebody else too who was also from Omaha that they had met through a class. And his name's Tom. His name is still Tom. He's still alive. He was in a class with, I think it might have been Drew. He was in the same class as Drew, my buddy Drew Schmatter. You met him at the Heights when you were in Omaha. And they invited these girls over, Friday night party, and I think it was Allie Huber. I think it was in the class, Allie.
Yeah.
So Allie is, high school buddies with Dana and Aaron, and they both came over, and that was the first time I met Aaron, Dana, and Allie. I think it's maybe Angela. Angela as well. I think Angela came.
I've heard the name. I can't remember. Dana's got too many friends.
Yeah. So they all came over. That was the first time I met them, and I was not of drinking age. So there was definitely not any drinking going on. Nothing nefarious or illegal.
Definitely not.
No, it was we're drinking tea and discussing politics. And so that was the first time I'd met my now wife, Erin. And years down the line, I dated other people in between that, but I always stayed friends with Dana, Aaron, and all them. And eventually I realized, like, hey, I know what I want. And Aaron and I had always gotten along, and we made out at a few parties.
Nice. We'll take a quick break right here. Thanks.
All right. Well, yeah, making out with Aaron. We'll come right back.
Yep.
What they call it?
You did what?
I had a Yeti.
Oh,
those Yeti ice cubes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? They were, it was like a little snowball almost. No?
Yeah.
No, it
comes in like a circle, doesn't it?
It was a bigger one.
Yeah.
I think it was like $150 when I bought it, but I bought it for when I was doing like the YouTube thing. And I just had it in my storage room, and these couple guys I play hockey with were doing a podcast called, it was Toss and Sauce, and they basically talked about
shout out Toss and Sauce.
Yeah, Toss. I don't think they're doing it anymore.
Oh no,
to Andy and
rest in peace.
No, they're still living.
Well, yeah, rest in peace to the show though.
Yeah, they did for a while though. I think they did it for almost a whole year, and they tried to get it out there. But I just gave that to him because I was like, hey, you guys are doing this here, because I listened to it a couple times and I'm like, man, I can barely understand you guys. You guys need something else here. Here, just take this. But they talked about basically NHL stuff that was going on, and Omaha Beer League hockey.
Nice.
Kind of the news, or the tea that was going on. Yeah. They were talking about the spilt tea and Omaha beer hockey, which was kind of interesting for somebody who's in it. Well, not that don't talk to the guys I play hockey with, because they say that I don't come around enough anymore.
Hey, man, life's busy.
It is busy, but I mean, you know, I can.
How long have you been playing hockey?
Okay, there's a whole nother story on that too. So so the guys I play Xbox with that
Mhm.
I found, you know, playing, you know, Ninja Diffusing, right? They were into hockey, right? And they got NHL. Man, I think it was NHL 14,
Mhm.
and Martin Berder on the front. Um, and they were trying to talk me into it to get in the game. I'm like, you guys told me to get all these different games, and at the time, you know, I don't really have the money to buy all these different games. And I was like, yeah, we'll see. You know,
Yeah.
we'll see if you guys really stick with it. And eventually, you know, they kept sticking with it. And I was in this 16-man fantasy football league.
Mhm.
Like it's huge. Like I'm at a 10-man now, and it's tough. It was a 16-man, $100 buy-in league. Like the winner gets like $400 some dollars.
Mhm.
And it was my first time in this league. And I said, you know what, guys, you know, I had just gotten the playoffs of this league. If I win this league, I'll buy NHL 14 because you know I was on spending cash to, you know, just buy it.
Yeah.
Ended up winning. Ended up winning the 16-man league, and I was just a dog in the waiver wires. I mean, I probably spent a couple 3 hours in the waiver wires every single week trying to pick guys up, doing research, reading the
It's quite the
articles,
commitment.
dude. And I mean, if you got $100 into something, I mean,
That's true.
what's it worth your time, especially when you're me working. I was a, you know, general maintenance dude, changing oil
Mhm.
and flipping tires at Graham Auto in Lincoln, Nebraska. I, you know,
Yeah. I mean,
$100 to me was a lot of money, so I'm gonna put a lot of time into this thing.
yeah.
I was in that league for 1 year, and I won it, and I quit. I didn't play fantasy football for 8 to 10 years after that. I
Oh,
was
damn.
I was done. I said, you know, I'm the world champion. I'm the best of the best. You know, I Tom Brady that motherfucker,
There
that
you
thing.
go.
And then 10 years later, I got into a league with my hockey buddies. Yeah, it's a 10-man league. It's a bunch of guys that they went to high school with, and they kind of backfill people as people leave.
Mhm.
This league's been going on since 2012, I think, so over 10 years.
Mhm.
Got into that league. This is the third year I've been in the league, but for sure I got into it. I actually won it.
Not bad.
And then the second year I was in, I almost got dead last. So it's all luck. No matter how much time you really put in. I mean, if you put more time into it, do your research, you're gonna get. You know, you got to be good to be lucky to be good, sort of thing. And it's
You gotta be good to be lucky, but you gotta be lucky to be good.
yeah, you need both.
Yeah, that's an interesting phrase.
It's Doc Hodson. He was a he is a Hall of Fame NHL announcer. Doc Hudson, I think that's his name. Look him up. Skinny bald guy.
Sounds like
he
the
was on
Cars police chief too.
Doc Hudson. Did I just pull that Doc Hudson out of there? Oh man, what's his name? I gotta pull him up. No, but he was in the NHL 14 to NHL 16, ESPN. It's in the game sort of thing. Him and oh man, why am I blanking on all these guys' names? But he will be in the Hall of Fame. He retired a couple of years ago actually, and he's been the voice of hockey for 20 some odd years. I think he worked for ABC, CBS,
the big news networks.
Yeah, one of those two. Let's see if I can pull him up real quick. Doc Emmerich is his name.
Doc Emmerich said Doc Hudson was out of Cars.
Yes, yeah, yep. And when your kid watches Cars every single day, that's Doc Emmerich right there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like in the game in 2014, and Eddie Olczyk was his color guy in the game, and that was his color guy in real life too. So, kind of brought it kind of felt like while you're playing, and things would happen in the game, and Doc or Eddie would say something, like they would if you're actually watching a hockey game. It was pretty cool. But he retired couple of years ago, I think. Yeah, Doc Emmerich. He's a.
How did this tie into you getting into hockey?
So I won that league. So then I bought the game,
Mm-hmm.
right, and kind of got into it. And if you've ever played an NHL game, it's you kind of got to learn how the real game actually works, right? It's not just some random made up thing, right? This is a game that we play in real life.
Well, all games are made up, but
That is true.
But I get what you're
you know what I
saying.
mean? Like the structure
Yeah.
of hockey, like anybody who just kind of watches hockey,
if you're just sitting in the
willy-nilly,
stands, you don't know what's going on.
Right.
Everybody's skating this way and that.
Yeah,
Like, why is it an icing? I don't know.
right? Yeah, it just looks like chaos.
Yeah.
Right. The whole game looks like chaos unless you know what to look for. It like for me when I watch NHL down to NCAA, everything looks like structured because I know what to look for, right?
Mhm.
You know, I can see the breakout structure, right? If you break out some 1-2-2 or 3-1-3-1-2, you know, based on and then whatever you're trying to come in and negate that with if you're doing a 2-2-1
Mm-hmm.
or if you're doing a 4-1, trying to make sure those guys dump that puck in, and so they have to chase it back into the zone to make them work for it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I can see that stuff because I learned the game through playing the video game,
Yeah.
really, and there was also a mode in that game where it's called EASHL. So it's basically instead of like you've played like the EA football games
Mhm.
or the basketball, like when you pass the ball or you throw the football right, then it automatically changes to the person who has the ball right. And then you run.
Right.
Well, in EASHL, you play your position.
Mm-hmm.
And so with these guys, we all had our own position,
Yeah.
right? And so when you pass the puck, it doesn't change to wherever the puck goes. You have to play your position with and without the puck, just like you do in real hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes you kind of learn what works and what doesn't work. And I know sometimes based on the game sliders and everything like that, it might get a little out of touch with the reality.
Mhm.
But the grand scheme of things, the base of it is it makes you learn the game of hockey. And so from there, after I had a bunch of fun playing this video game, I thought, shoot, I can go get skates and play this as well, in real life.
No shit.
Yeah, and so
you didn't know how to you didn't grow up like ice skating and
Nope.
stuff. Because when we came to see you play hockey that one time, I was like, dang, dude, this guy's good. I could never skate like that. I guess it turns out you can learn when you're older.
yeah, dude, I went to Played Against Sports, which is for those of the people out there who don't know what Played Against Sports is. It's just a place where you go turn in your old sports equipment and you can put it on consignment, or you can just sell it outright and then they resell it. Doesn't have to be hockey. It could be baseball, soccer,
Yeah, like whatever.
what have you. And they also have brand new stuff in there too, but a lot of it's used. So I went to the Played Against Sports in Lincoln. Well, for some of my stuff, there was a mom and pop shop, Hat Trick Hockey, which isn't a thing in Lincoln anymore. They got bought out. I don't remember I think it's called Blue Line Hockey now. So shout out, I guess, to Blue Line. But I went in there and I bought my skates brand new because the research I did said don't buy your skates used, buy them brand new because they kind of form to your feet a little bit, right? And so I bought brand new skates. They were middle of the line skates, probably when I say middle of the line hockey skates, I mean I probably dropped $200 on these skates.
Yeah.
And then all of my other shin guards, chesty,
Dude, that's
elbows.
a lot of commitment to get into hockey.
Dude, right? And I was like, you know what, this game's a lot of fun, and I'd like to actually try it out. And then I went to Played Again and probably spent just as much on everything else, right? So I dropped $400 on this stuff, and so I would go out and in Lincoln they had in the winter, one of the lakes I lived by, they had lights at night that would come on, and they threw out
lake
on the lake outside.
Nice.
And they threw out a net. Parks had like this crappy net that instead of twine, it was actually like chain link fence.
Nice.
And I have a picture of me and Aaron out there during
Very
the day.
1990s.
Yeah. And so I'd go out there after work because I was still working on cars at the time. I'd go home, grab all my crap, And I'd drive back over to the lake, and I'd go out there with a few pucks and just skate around and
Zero fear of falling in the lake.
yeah, pretty much.
Dude, I'd be scared.
Dude, when I was out there, it was probably 10, 20 degrees outside. And
I
it had
mean,
been
yeah,
10, 20 degrees outside for a long time. There was no, the fear was my toes freezing off and snapping off in my skates. That's how cold it was at the time.
I mean, that's fair, but then dude, that's just that's probably one of my worst fears is like being stuck underneath the ice in the water,
yeah,
not having a way to get out. That sounds like a
it does. That's
worst possible scenario.
But I mean, in the times I was out there, there'd be other guys out there practicing who knew what they were doing, and they would come up to me and be like, "Hey, try this and this," or like, "Hey, there was a guy out there who taught me how to shoot backhanded shots."
Oh, nice.
Guy I'd never met before. I was out there trying. He came over to me and he was like, "Hey, you kind of feel like you're trying to dig, like you have a shovel and you're trying to dig something out of the dirt, right?" And dude, instantly, like in my head, it worked, right? And that's the thing about the hockey community too, from Lincoln to Omaha. I'm sure it's the same everywhere else. If you're a brand new guy out there trying the sport, and I know it's probably not the same for all the other sports, but everybody sees you, and I do the same thing now that I've been in the game for a little bit. If I see somebody struggling and they don't have anybody to help them out, I'll skate over to them and be like, "Hey, man, try this and this."
Right. Yeah, it's like a good community. It's a good culture.
Oh,
it's very uplifting.
It's a great community. And the way I got into the Omaha hockey scene and into like drop-ins and stuff, because when I lived in Lincoln, I didn't play any drop-ins at all. One of my Xbox buddies who got me into the game, he was in the military, and I was like, "Hey," his family was kind of gone and off and whatever. I was like, "Hey, you should come to Omaha. There's a good university here. Use your GI Bill to come here and go to school, and you can live with me, and I'll kind of show you around town and stuff like that." And that's not what happened. Some things transpired. Everything kind of worked out. He's living a good life. He's married with a couple kids now. But when he got here, we went to a rink just for a stick and puck. Stick and puck is just kind of a free skate with sticks and pucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to have your helmet on.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, and you just kind of skate around and practice drills and stuff like that. And got approached by one of the guys who I skate with today. He's actually the president of the beer league team I play with now, Menace. Menace 2 Sobriety, the full name. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that anymore. John approached us and was like, "Hey, you should come out, and we got some dropping games going on over at Grover." And we're like, "Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, we'll definitely check it out." And so we went over there and met a lot of good dudes that I can call my really good friends now. And a few of them, like one of the shops I worked at, Ray, who I skate with, he got me a job over there at the last auto mechanic shop I worked at. And then my buddy Pat, who talked me into being part of the Team Fitters, I also met playing hockey. He wrote my letter of recommendation to get into the union. And so and the thing I learned about kind of adult hockey, beer league hockey is it's not really about the game so much. I mean, it's fun to play and be competitive. As an adult, that's kind of what you're looking for as kind of an escape from life, is kind of get some of that competitiveness back that you had in high school. But as an adult, it's more geared toward, or what I found out is your networking.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of different people from different strokes of life who have a lot of different professions and crafts, that if you're really kind of struggling on, what should I do in life? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it gives you like a good mentorship and a good community of people to kind of give you some direction.
100%. Like, cause it's everybody from all colors of life playing this game. And then you're all kind of struggling together to be competitive, right? Because we do tournaments on the weekends and stuff, but it's really, I'm just really grateful for how that all transpired. I mean, I kind of laid it all out there in long form there, but it's the way it came down. like I'm really grateful that it happened the way it did, because I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be able to provide for my family the way I am now unless I I got into hockey,
Yeah.
which is kind of nuts. I mean, it's not going to work out like that for everybody, but
It's like the butterfly effect.
no, 100%. I mean, the amount of people that that I've I call friends just playing hockey with is it's kind of crazy, and I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, yeah. The I wish there were more community activities like that. I really feel like since COVID and kind of like all that 2020 mess through like 2022, I feel like community events have kind of like dissipated in a way. Like I feel like there used to be a lot more like, oh, let's do like a potluck dinner, or like let's start a men's basketball league or a softball league or like whatever.
Yeah.
Like it feels like work schedules have like really ramped up. Like everybody's spending a lot more time at work than they used to. And then 2, like people are afraid to be around other people and like meet other people and just kind of open themselves up more to having like a community role almost. I don't know if that's everywhere. Could be isolated, but I don't know. I feel like we need more community, and we're getting a lot less of it than we used to.
Yeah, I mean, where'd all the bowling leagues go?
Dude,
That our parents were going off to on Wednesday nights, right? And giving us to our grandparents. What happened to all those bowling leagues? Or
yeah, I don't think I know anybody that goes bowling anymore, which is
Right.
actually really sad. And I wanna look up a bowling alley around here because
that's where
bowling's
parents.
awesome.
I know, growing up in the Midwest, I don't know. I know my parents had a bowling league. They go down to the Western Bowl on 132nd and L. In Omaha, and that's where they had their bowling league every single Wednesday night. I remember getting handed off to my grandparents when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. So my parents were going to bowling league, a co-ed bowling league, and that's kind of what hockey is to me. I wish I've tried to get Aaron into hockey multiple times, but some people are a little
different
more
strokes
coordinated,
for different folks.
coordinated than others. And hockey's a tough sport, man. I've gotten injured multiple times. Like I grew up playing baseball as a catcher, and I tried to play goalie because I thought, this will transfer over. I'm pretty flexible. It's all the same movements, right?
Yeah.
My gloves. I'm a right-handed
catch
shot
the puck.
skater. But when you're a goalie, if your gloves on your left hand, you're a left-handed shot. And so I'm like, well, I'm a goalie. I'm not going to be doing a lot of shooting. So yeah, and that's a natural handedness for a goalie is the glove on the left. And the natural handedness for hockey in general is a left-handed, which is kind of backwards from every other sport. But the Canadians, what do you do with them? And so I tried the goalie out, and I don't know if I was too far removed from being a catcher, but I think I brought this up earlier today, but I tried going down a few times, and my hip flexors. I've never had issues with my hip flexors before. Just totally wrecked, could barely walk afterwards. Like even after just warm-ups, I could feel, I was like, what is wrong with me?
Well, that's so different being on skates and having to do all that kneeling down versus like being on the balls of your toes.
Right,
Like,
and that's the other thing about hockey too, is go get me a professional athlete, name any professional athlete that doesn't play hockey, and have them put on skates. Just put on skates and try and skate around.
dude, I heard, did you hear about the rumor that they're going to start having bare knuckle boxing on ice skates?
I know somebody who just did that last weekend. Yes, I do. He lost, unfortunately. This dude did, oh my God.
Where was this?
They did it in Las Vegas last week. Oh my gosh. If he ever sees this, and if this ever goes on the internet, I am so sorry. You're one of my best buds. Please don't knock my tooth out like you did that one dude in the rink that you did a long time ago. So this guy, MMA fighter, he's like 6'3", 6'4". He's a bad motherfucker. When he was, he told me this story. One of the MMA fights he was in, he actually knocked this dude's tooth out. Right, MMA fight.
Yeah.
Tooths,
Teethers.
plural. In the respect through the MMA community, right? This guy actually sent him the teeth that he knocked out in the mail.
Wow.
And I guess he said, he told me he has them, if I remember correctly, he said he has them in a shadow box in his house somewhere.
Wow.
This guy's teeth. So he's a bad dude. And he's been trying to get on the ice wars is what they are. He's been trying to do this for 6 to 12 months, if I'm remembering correctly. He's and it's all over his Facebook. He's been trying to do this for a long time. He finally got in, and it's essentially like, they put up boards, right? It's not on a full ice rink, but it's on ice, right? And they have about the same amount of square footage as like a boxing rink. And they have full gear on, obviously no helmets, full hockey gear on. I'm talking breezers, shoulder pads, skates,
Yeah.
The whole kit and caboodle except for the gloves and the bucket. And this dude who I've seen some pictures. I haven't watched the fight yet, but this guy who's shorter than this guy got him pretty good apparently.
Dude, that's got to be like 50% luck though. I mean, because like, I don't really know. I've only ice skated a few times, but I've definitely never played hockey. That's got to be so much harder to like balance and like throw punches and bob and weave. So like you could get caught a lot easier, I think. I don't know,
yeah, 100%. And I think probably the guy who got him was probably grew up playing hockey, and is also a bad dude, just like he is.
Well, I feel like every dude that plays hockey is a bad dude.
Well,
like,
especially dudes who go into the ice willingly looking to knock somebody out or get knocked out themselves.
Right?
Like those are bad dudes.
Respect, man. I'm good.
And he had a whole post saying, all respect for so and so. He's a bad mother effer. Kudos to him. He had this whole respectful post to this guy who beat him in the ice wars.
Yeah.
But I mean, this guy who has fought in multiple MMA fights. 6'3", 200. He's probably 230, 240 pounds. He's a big dude.
Jacked. On
skates. Like, I mean, as far as hockey goes, me who didn't grow up playing hockey and only started, 10, 12 years ago, I skate circles around this guy. Like, he's not a very good skater.
I feel like that's a problem if you're going to be fighting on the ice.
Right. And that's probably how we got him, was because that guy is a lot more balanced on the skates.
Yeah.
And can do that. But I feel like if those two were to fight, on
like
on solid ground, not frozen water,
it's different. It becomes a different game.
I don't think it would even be close. I mean, because one, he was quite a bit taller, and the dude's arms, I mean, he's got the reach. Like, he's got the reach of a fighter, and that's why he, fought MMA and did so well in MMA, because he's got the reach. But even with the reach and being taller than that guy and having the weight on that guy, he still got knocked out. Like I said, I haven't watched the fight, so I don't know. But
I want to know. But I mean, shoot. I mean, what's one loss? You can always do more.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't count for the solid ground fights. Right.
Yeah.
That's a subcategory.
What? So have you watched any of the ice skating fights before?
I mean,
how long has this been going on?
Like specifically,
I just heard about it.
Specifically, Ice Wars. I think I've seen some clips here and there. I mean, obviously, I've watched enough NHL games to see a bunch of fights on the ice.
Yeah.
But specifically sanctioned fights on the ice, I've never watched a full one from bell to bell.
I think there's like a whole league that is being built around this. But
Ice Wars.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what we're talking about. Unless there's another league somewhere, but that's the one I've heard about.
Have you seen the thing about the what are those? The enhanced games?
Mm-mm.
So supposedly there's a company called the Enhanced Games where they're gonna basically do the same thing as the Olympics, but their like premise is that the Olympics doesn't pay the athletes. The athletes work super hard, and like if you get gold, maybe you'll get some sponsorships and like get some money that way. So anyway, the Enhanced Games is like offering a very large purse for the people that win and actually paying the athletes, but they're doing it so like you can juice and like do whatever kind of like enhancements you want to do, but you have to like document it. And like that's going to be interesting. I think they're starting next year. I can't remember when they're starting, but it's like supposedly coming up right around the same time the Olympics is going to, and they already have like, I think they have some big TV contracts and other stuff already.
That would be really interesting to watch. And too, I mean, hopefully all those people in the enhanced games who are enhancing themselves also are, because they're supposed to be transparent about it, right?
Yeah, you're supposed. That's their thing, is that you have to like document all of it and like get the doctors to sign off on it. You like agree to like, this is what I'm doing, but like, I don't know. I think it's going to be very interesting.
I mean, where does that open it up to? You know, how easy is it to hide it now that I'm being, transparent? I'll be transparent about this, but I'm not going to be transparent about this over here.
Right, but I mean,
but at the same time, if you're being transparent about taking enhancement drugs, right, that are illegal in the Olympics, like what do you have to lose?
Well, but everybody's
right? You don't just
juicing
go all out.
Supposedly, anyway, like what I've heard is that like everybody's doing that in the Olympics, because like you have to. I don't know.
Well, and
I also don't. I didn't even watch the Olympics this last year, so
neither did I'm not a big, because it was the Summer Olympics last time. I watched the golf because I'm into golf. Xander Schauffele, shout out for winning it for the Americans. But I'm not a big like Summer Olympics guy. I like the Winter Olympics one because hockey. Since we're just talking about that, and this year they're actually letting it was part of the CBA for the NHL Players Association to be able to get released to play in the Winter Olympics this year. Whereas years prior, like the Miracle on Ice, right? That was all college kids that went and beat all those Russians.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the NHL guys. That was years of Gretzky. All those guys. Gordie Howe. Like, imagine Gordie Howe and Gretzky going against the Russians. Easy win. But those were college kids who went in there and beat the Russians. And it's been kind of off and on years past. On if the NHL guys are going in and playing in the Olympics. But this year the NHL guys are going to be able to go in there and play in the Olympics, so it'll be a lot cooler.
Yeah, it'll be more interesting, that's for sure.
Right, yeah, because I mean, like with the enhancement games, right, you want the best of the best doing, whatever it is. It makes it more interesting, right? And that, not to say anything bad about women's sports or the WNBA in specific, specifically, but I mean, the reason why they don't get the crowds that they get is because, I mean, even the college men teams are more athletic, they're faster.
Well, you got to make it interesting. I mean, WNBA historically hasn't been that interesting until Caitlin Clark showed up.
Right, and the only reason why it's interesting is because it's not because of the pace of play or nothing really changed. I mean, Caitlin Clark's good, right? She's probably one of the better ones that have played women's basketball, but it's not because Caitlin Clark is improving the pace of play. It's because all of the drama around Caitlin Clark being there. What?
Hold that thought.
Right.
That's okay. We had to take a short break. But anyway, no, do you watch UFC at all?
I used to quite a bit, like religiously. I haven't in quite a long time. I remember back in the Forrest Griffin days, dude was my favorite fighter. I don't know why. I just thought, hey, dude's pretty cool. He's in like the weight class that I might be in. I mean, back then, not now. I think it was featherweight, maybe. No, he was welterweight's above feather. Yeah. I think it was welterweight. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's if I actually worked out quite a bit, that's probably what I would look like. He seemed like a bad dude, so I was like, yeah, and he was winning at the time too, so it was easy to like him.
Dude, the UFC's coming to Paramount. Did you hear about that?
No, like the streaming service.
Yeah, Paramount Plus. Yeah, they're leaving ESPN. And starting in 2026, they're going to move all their fight nights over to Paramount Plus. So you just need a subscription to Paramount Plus.
It's one more subscription?
Right, but you don't have to pay an $80 pay-per-view now.
Oh, that's actually kind of nice. You could pick up Paramount Plus for a month for $10.99 instead of the $80 you're dropping.
Well, yeah, instead of dropping $80 every month, you drop what let's say it's $10 a month. I don't know what the membership actually costs, but if you're doing $10 a month, so you spend $120 in the year.
Yep.
I mean, that's instead of $80 every month, because there's a fight night every month. That's a pay-per-view. Yeah, every month there's at least. I don't know if it's the Contender Series or like what they do on the other Saturdays, because there's fights every single Saturday.
Okay.
But like title fights and what they call fight nights, where it's like a major card, only happens once a month.
Because so do they number the UFCs based on those main title fights?
Yeah.
So
I
say there's one a month, right? So what are we at now? UFC
313, 314,
313 now.
320.
So let's say the last one was 313, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say it was last week. Let's say it was last weekend, right? And the next title fight is a month from now. Like you said, there's a title fight once a month. The ones in between don't get a number.
Right.
It's only the title fight. So the next one, next month will be 314.
321. My bad.
That's so wild. I remember, when I used to watch, when Forrest Griffin was in the game, it was like one something.
Yeah.
It was like 134, 155, or.
Well, I think this podcast that we're recording right now is episode 5 or 6, something like that. Potentially.
Number 5.
Yeah, I'll send it to you before I put it out.
Oh man, I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, at worst case scenario, it never hits the internet, and we just talk. This is just something that we keep for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a regular. Well, this is pretty tamped down conversation based on what our usual conversations are, but
yeah, it's just tempered.
Yeah, that's what I mean by tamped down, tempered.
Yeah,
for sure.
You well, what do you think about the pyramids?
Oh, here we go. The pyramids. The pyramids control the weather. They're run by the people of God. I was told not to say. I was told not to get into this, and that's why.
Well, no.
They're run by the chosen people of God, and they control the weather. That's
the pyramids are.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's obviously being facetious. So the pyramids. Okay.
You don't have to. I don't even know if you think about the pyramids.
The way.
What do you think about the stuff that's in the U.S.? Like mammoth tusks and. What
do you mean the mammoth? I mean, I know what mammoth tusks are, but I mean, what do you mean?
I don't even know what I mean. The man, what's that? Well, see, now my mind's going everywhere. Like the there's like too many things. There's like really too many things.
Well, I mean, back to the pyramids, I guess. It's obviously pyramids in Egypt. Very similar pyramids in South America, correct?
Yeah.
And they're very, similar, probably built similar way. And we really don't know how they were built. I mean, we can come up with ideas. They were on rollers and they used ramps and everything like that. But why are they so similar to the ones in South America, right? I mean, if that's what you're really, trying to get at, why even build them in the first place?
That's a good question. I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, it's kind of sad that like we don't have big stone structures like we used to. Like, you have giant cathedrals and stuff in Europe that, like castles that have lasted for like hundreds and hundreds of years. But like in society today, we don't build anything that's
we're
not
kind
just concrete and metal.
We're kind of talking about that earlier, how art has kind of fallen off from the Roman Empire ages, right? Where you have the Colosseum, right? These big, massive marble columns.
Yeah.
And then you have these statues that are very close to what the human body is, right? Beautiful, beautiful art, the Sistine
Yeah,
Chapel.
great craftsmanship.
Exactly. And now you, over the past, 10 years, you get these ridiculous statues depicting, like the one that was put in Times Square like a year ago.
Oh, I didn't see it.
And
What was it?
it was this depiction of, oh man, how do I say this nicely?
Well, was it an impressionist art?
Kind of. I mean, it wasn't anatomically correct like it was back in the Roman days, where it was like almost exactly, of the human body. It was a little bit where there were the artist took some liberties to accentuate kind of like a caricature, but not quite
Oh,
quite that on that scale. But it's essentially the one in Times Square that got put up was essentially an overweight black lady. Yeah, in the middle of Times Square, and there was another one that got put up somewhere. I think it was in London. And people are saying like this is art, and it's like compared to what? Like what compared to what? Like
yeah. Like, what's your definition of art?
how are
Because
we?
like, if your definition of art is like splashing some paint on a wall, yeah, I guess that can be art. But like, how much talent and skill and craftsmanship goes into that? What's the thought process? I'm kind of sad that like we don't, if you go to like houses, these even just like houses these days, you can have like fake pillars that look like they should be like
Yep.
stone or something, but
Mhm.
it's not. It's just
Yeah.
drywall with a couple of like shaved rocks in front of it. Like, why don't we build anything out of like brick and
Yeah.
solid things? What happened to the quality? Where'd all
Yeah.
the quality go?
I kind of have something like that in my basement that you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a faux brick wall
Mhm.
on the south side
Yeah.
of the house there in the basement. It's not holding up anything. It's not. it's a faux brick wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool aesthetic. I
Yeah,
get it, but like,
it's neat.
why don't we
Yeah.
build anything out of like? Why does that need to be the aesthetic? Why can't it just be the whole thing?
Right. Yeah. Why isn't the entire interior of the house like that brewery we were at earlier today in Tampa? That was an obviously hand laid mason laid building.
Yeah,
Obviously, like nothing was super perfect. You could tell the grout was, uh, mess with their hands to make it lay a certain way. It was that thing was hand built.
yeah,
It was really cool to see, especially, being on the construction side of, the industry I work in, even though I work service, it's still fun to see that stuff.
yeah.
Uh, why don't we build buildings like that anymore? You know what I mean? Like in Omaha, like speaking of brick buildings, the largest red brick building in North America is in Omaha, Nebraska. And it's over 100 in between 120th and 132nd and L on the north side of L behind that shopping center there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the largest brick building in North America. I didn't know it was there. One of my buddies who services that building told me about it, and I would have never thought about it until he told me it. And
Well, I mean,
told
it's
me
the
about it.
Midwest, man. The quality is a little bit better because everybody has a good work ethic out there.
I mean,
For the most part,
for the most part, yeah.
yeah. I mean, obviously you have your outliers,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. Just I think in general, like it feels like society as a whole is devolving into what's the quickest way to make money, and like quality is just going out the window left and right. Everything's made in China. Nothing's American made. Nothing's quality. Nobody gets paid the right amount for the work that they're putting in.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to pay benefits.
Yeah.
What is that about?
And I think a lot of that is, again, I think this is something we touched on earlier today, is it's not like there's so much red tape, right? Back in the day, think of the Empire State Building that I brought up earlier today. That got built in 2 to 3 years. It's one of the most beautiful skyscrapers in the United States, if not the world. I mean, it's not the tallest thing ever, but yeah, it's a beautiful handcrafted building.
Mm-hmm.
Move over to the Golden Gate Bridge, done in just about the same amount of time. The Transcontinental Railroad, 6 to 7 years. Obviously, a lot of people died, right? Building both things.
Yeah, people
And
got taken advantage of and whatnot. Like it's that part's not okay.
no, it's not.
And it's good to have regulations that help that, but you can't
Right.
put too many regulations in place where it's hindering people from actually accomplishing the mission.
Right, and not only that, but it seems like some
Dang,
of these
dude.
architects and engineers are just they're so scared of that red tape that they keep everything so simple. Like the modern architecture nowadays is not. I don't know. It's not beautiful. I guess it would be the word to describe it. It's ugly. It's all straight lines. There's no curvature to anything. Modern architecture is ugly relative to everything else that's come before it, and
Yeah.
it's like that because it's safe, right? It's structurally sound because everything's straight lines, triangles, squares, right? And that's probably why they stick to it, is because it is structurally safe. There's nothing to it but these angles, right? And you're trying to depict these angles as beautiful when all these straight lines are just they're ugly. There's nothing to them.
Well, and
right?
how much of it is like a tactic to move, like push your ideas in a certain direction? Because this is interesting, and I feel like this plays into a lot of things. But a couple podcasts ago, Dana and I were talking about grocery stores, and I think that grocery stores are designed to specifically like push you in a certain direction. If you look at every grocery store that you go into, you're going to have your vegetables on your right. Every time you walk in the door.
It's immediately when you walk in the door. Yeah, I work refrigeration, so I've been in a lot of grocery stores. But yeah, when you immediately walk in, you're right.
Yeah, it creates a certain flow, and you're being led in a certain way.
100%.
So we were talking about this on a previous podcast, and then Dana like looked it up, and there was something about, I don't remember exactly what it was, so don't quote me on this, but something about the lights that are used in grocery stores were like tested on rats as well to like see how like rats behaved or whatever. And it was, I can't remember exactly what the correlation was, but I was like, whoa, dude, can't even leave the food alone.
Well, in
everything is shaping you.
No, and I think you're right now. I kind of think about it. So you walk in to your local grocery store, right?
Right.
Your fresh produce is immediately to your right or to your left. Let me ask you, what's next? Immediately, almost.
It's either dairy or meat. That's next.
It's usually meat.
Yep, it's usually meat.
And the grocery store. So working refrigeration, been in a lot of grocery stores. I'm kind of thinking back right now to kind of the flow of like. I'm not going to name any names of grocery stores, just in case. I've worked in many that listeners have probably been in. It's immediate. It's always immediately fresh produce and almost immediately meat next. And you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's almost immediately dairy directly after.
Yep.
And thinking, I mean, if you follow it, left or right, whichever way the produce is, it's produce, meat, dairy, and then what's next?
Then you usually have your frozen section with all the grains and everything in the middle.
Yes. It brings you
this
around.
Whole cycle that leads you in a certain direction, and nobody really goes through like the freezer section first.
Nope.
It's always the other way around. It's not as they don't make it as accessible to go through the freezer section first. Like some people, if you're an oddball, you'll go backwards. But most people that are just following the natural flow of things go that direction.
And I mean, realistically, you normally want to get your frozen stuff last,
right?
Because
then you're on your way out the door.
Then you're on your way out the door, right? But think of, I will throw Hy-Vee out there because I'm sure Hy-Vee bakers, right? Even some of the bakers are still like this, which is a Kroger brand. The frozen was in the very middle of the grocery store, and some of them haven't flipped over to this new model yet. All the older Hy-Vee bakers and some of the other stores out there, I'm sure, that haven't been remodeled, the frozen is still right smack dab in the center. And it messes with that flow, right? Because I mean, honestly, the grocery store I go to has been remodeled, and it does flow. It does go produce, and then it goes. Then there's bakery, deli, bakeries on one side, delis on the other,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes meat counter, dairy, and then frozen.
Yeah,
Where
it's all programming.
yeah. And before I used to work inside a grocery store, and before it got remodeled, the frozen was down the middle, and I'm trying to think of, it was bakery. Oh, before that you walked in the door, it was produce, and then it went dairy, meat. Can't remember what was in that corner, and then bakery, and then all the like the pizza and Asian food and everything in the cafe was over this way, and then everything got flipped over to the other side to where you walk in first and kind of rearrange everything. But it is interesting. I've never thought about that before, where everything's kind of flows, and I've heard about kind of some metrics on. It's all marketing, right? And it's
everything's data.
It's all tested.
So I think that everything is a pattern. This is I don't know if I fully understand this thought or if this even makes sense. I might sound really dumb, but it feels like literally everything in life is pattern recognition. So
100%. I mean, we're humans. Like, that's what we do, is we recognize patterns.
Yeah, but like
right.
you look at like a blob in a certain color and all that stuff. Like it's at the very base level, it's just recognizing like patterns of things. And so then like if everything's a pattern in life, how do we just identify like what patterns are good and what patterns are bad? I don't know where I was going with that, but I don't know. Marketing's big. I don't know, dude.
Well, and to that pattern thing, the example I always hear on YouTube and online stuff like that is, say you're walking downtown, large metropolitan area, doesn't matter what city you're in, it's 2 a.m, you're a woman, you're walking down the street, right, and you see a man, doesn't matter what color he is, he's walking your way down the street, right? Any woman, before that man gets
they're gonna get scared.
within 50 yards, it's going to cross the street and keep walking her way. It's because the pattern recognition is they see on social media, on the big media, that men assault women at 2 a.m. You know what I mean? The analytics are there, right? The pattern recognition is there, or they're told, right? The pattern is this, right? Men will assault women, right? So they cross the street and they go that way.
How much of that is just programming? I mean, that's not to say that that's like not true. I mean, these days it's like you don't want to like think that people are bad, but
no, but I mean that's.
But it seems like a lot of things like it's like that old saying about news stories that whatever bleeds leads, and it's like, why can't we talk about the positive things that happen?
Yeah, what about the men at 2 a.m. who help out a woman who's broke down on the side of the road?
Yeah,
is nice and change the tires out, and where's what's the percentage on that?
Yeah, what about all the people that are trying to make a positive impact in the world and are stopping to help somebody out and going the extra mile to make somebody's day?
Yeah, what's the analytics on a woman or a man to stop to help somebody out on the side of the road? Is it usually a man? It's probably usually a man.
Usually.
Because they know how to change that tire. Or, yeah, I've stopped on the side of the road and helped somebody out before.
Did you learn how to change a tire in school?
I did take automotive class in school.
Oh, that's a thing?
It was an elective. Well, at the school I went to, we actually had like a 4-bay shop.
Why is automotive class a elective and not like a required class?
I mean, that's a real question. We had small engines, we had automotive, we had body, automotive body.
That should definitely be like a required class for at least males. Not to be sexist, if girls want to take it, they totally can. But I think all guys should have that, not at least a basic level knowledge of how your car works.
Changing a tire, even without, we have all these nice cordless tools. I have many, the Milwaukee impacts, half-inch impacts with all the sockets. Like, when I worked on car, I have all those tools, right? So when I'm changing the blade on my mower, it takes me 5 seconds to change the blade on my mower. But what would you do if you didn't have those tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, would you be smart enough to wedge a piece of wood in between the blade?
Yeah, can you problem solve?
So you can, yeah, just understanding mechanics in general. I mean, that's really my wheelhouse, is understanding mechanics and electrical theory and stuff like that. That's what I'm a professional at, and that's what I understand and how I learned it. I mean, just basic interest in it. You know, diving
you like
deeper.
puzzles.
Yeah,
It's like fun, out of the ordinary puzzles.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and I didn't come from a family like my dad never worked on cars before. I've had my dad has asked me when I was in high school, how do I change my air filter on my truck? You know, and I think I was 17, 18 years old at the time, and I was watching, probably Bear Grylls, try and survive out.
The good old days.
Oh, dude. I think I probably was watching Bear Grylls at the time. He's like, "Hey, Austin, can you help me find out where the airbox is on this truck?" And so I went up there. I was like, "Hey, Dad, it's right here."
Did your dad actually not know, or was he using it as an opportunity to teach you? Was he playing 4D chess and manipulating you into learning something?
I don't know. My dad's always been an advocate for me to go to college and learning stuff. I mean that's a whole nother college is a whole nother topic.
Yeah, it is. Do you think college will still be around in the next 5 years?
I think half of them will be around. I think if the current administration does what they want to do, and hopefully what the culture should do, I think a lot of the kids in the United States will realize, like, hey, I can go into an apprenticeship, a 4 or 5 year apprenticeship, and have it a guaranteed job through a union or otherwise, and make $100,000 a year. That's not, I'm not exaggerating that at all. Like, I'm living that right now. And once those kids coming out of high school realize that they can, especially the men and some of the women. I have some women in my apprenticeship class through the steam fitters. Once these kids realize that, a lot of these colleges are going to run out of students who are paying them $30,000-$40,000 a year, and they're going to go under because they built a business model that's unsustainable without manipulating the population into thinking that they need to go to college. And all these professors are either going to need to take a 50% pay cut, or they're going to leave and go find something else to do, or retire.
Well, and how much benefit does it actually get you? Like, if you went to college, and I totally understand, like, in some, degree areas, like being a doctor,
STEM.
Being a lawyer, scientist.
The STEM.
Yeah.
STEM sciences,
What
right?
is science, technology,
engineering,
mechanical,
mechanics.
something like that.
Yeah. So I'm talking engineers, which that's engineers.
Yeah, but you can also learn a lot of that
architects.
stuff from just reading. Like, why do I need, like, if I'm interested in X, why do I need to learn about Z?
Okay, so
if it doesn't affect X,
I'll push back on you on this. So,
all right,
I think you need the universities for the STEMs, because
totally,
things like engineering doctorates, actual medical doctors. I'm not talking like chiropractor doctors, chiropractic. Chiropractic is not a real.
It's not a real doctor.
Yeah.
Or no medical school.
Yeah. But
allegedly,
you need these people to go to school and actually learn it, because there's so many regulations, red tape, right? Especially for the medical doctors, you need people who can actually pass these, or lawyers, right? You need these people to actually understand the regulations, because when they're actually out there practicing, you need them to understand the law and understand, like, especially in the doctor sense,
like industry standards.
Yeah,
what's the right technique?
They have people's lives in their hands. And that goes back to engineers and architects too. Like, if they're building buildings or engineering mechanical, cars, for
Mhm.
instance, if they're not engineering them to be safe, right, they're going to kill a lot of people.
Sure.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's why even on the building trade side, or plumbers, steam fitters, stuff like that, we still have a lot of licenses to get,
Mhm.
state licenses, so we're also safe while we're doing our jobs.
Totally.
Uh, but when it comes to them, it's, I don't know. I don't want to put engineers at a higher tier, but I mean they're
I mean, you got to make sure your math is good, and
right.
you really got to be on your game.
You can, because these engineers, like if you bring it back to my industry, they're engineering boilers, right? Think of boilers. Boilers are bombs, essentially, right?
Mhm.
Because steam expands at
Yeah, it creates a lot of pressure.
yeah, and because steam expands at I guess water into steam, right?
Mhm.
Expands at 9,000 times what water is, right? And so that turns it, if you're in a pressurized vessel, that turns into a bomb.
Mhm.
Right, there's been many instances in the past, boilers blowing up, beaming, unaliving people.
Yeah, you
And
got to be
so,
careful.
so
But still though, like if I'm trying to be, an economist,
mhm.
why do I need to learn about like anatomy and stuff or biology if I don't want to? Like why do I need to
Yeah,
take
why-
a whole semester focused on how photosynthesis works?
Yeah, I think once you get past the high school stage, right? When you're in high school, you should learn about everything. Get a broad overview of just about everything, right? So you kind of realize what you want to dive deeper in, right? Whether that be science, math. I got to take auto care in high school as an elective, but that kind of piqued my interest, right? Because I wanted to dive deeper into mechanics, but for the other people who want to be biochemists, right? They take biology in high school, and so when you test good, right? And you're like, what, I want to be a biochemist. I want to be in the FBI labs, and I want to be I want to be that investigative biologist who gets to do the autopsies for the FBI, right?
Hold
So,
that thought. What were you saying?
So you want to be, so that piques your interest, right? Biology
Mhm.
does, and you want to go work for the FBI as an investigative biologist, if that's a real thing. And so from there, out of high school, you go and apply to a college that has a really good biology department, right? And from there, you should just, instead of doing like, obviously biology probably involves some math, but you shouldn't have to take English class or go take gym class or take a liberal arts class. You should be able to focus,
On what
kind
you're
of
interested in.
pinpoint on
Yeah.
what you're interested in. You shouldn't have to do all this other dumb stuff. And just to give the university money, and there are a lot of talking heads on the internet who say, college is BS, and, I totally agree with them. As if they were to restructure toward being able to kind of pinpoint what people's interest is, like based on my last example here, I think it would be a lot more useful, and it would be a lot less financially detrimental to some of these kids out here who want to get into a very niche STEM industry, and everybody else can, like me, college isn't for everybody. Go work with your hands,
Yeah, but I guess what I'm kind of getting at is like it's why isn't more like life-centered stuff that actually prepares you for life focused on in school? Like, did you have
taxes.
taxes? How to do
No.
taxes? What's going on with the tax code?
Yeah.
Finance or automotive or like
Finances definitely.
nobody taught me how to buy a house in school.
How to navigate.
Why didn't we go over that?
Yeah, how to navigate a mortgage, like how to get into buying a house and
Yeah,
and
how am I supposed to
negotiating
be
your
a
contract for a
functioning-
mortgage, like and
How am I supposed to be a good functioning member of society if I don't know how to do basic society things and I just have to listen to the person at the DMV that says sign here? What am I signing? Why am I signing it? Why is this a law? This wasn't explained to me in high school.
No, and I think we need to be grateful to have these on the boxes in our pockets, and so we can go look this stuff up. I mean, some of this stuff is easier to find than other stuff. I've done my time searching the .govs for specific things here and there, and some of it's tough to find.
Dude, that's mind blowing too. Like without the internet, if we lived in our parents' time, 20, 30, 40 years
we'd
ago,
have to go down to the courthouse and ask for.
Got to go get the library books out.
Yeah. Can you imagine trying to look up some of these the Senate committee hearings?
Oh yeah, like think about.
I've had to navigate some of that. So I can't remember specifically what I was looking for, but I had found the Senate committee notes, like the actual transcript, and I spent a couple hours reading through that to try and find what I was looking for. And so as it pertains to law, like you were saying, it's, even though we have the omniboxes right in our pockets and we could look up any information at all, you still need some sort of research skill to be able to go in and find exactly what you're looking for when it pertains to law, right?
There's too much.
Yeah.
Too many laws. But I mean I'm not, I don't understand why it's so hard to, I just completely lost my train of thought.
Why it's so hard to pertain information that is relevant to what we're trying to look up?
Oh no, that's what I was thinking. So if what is really going on with all of history if anything and everything could be propagandized before the internet? So for instance, no, like information's, really, really interesting because I'm always curious, like, where am I getting my information from? How good is it? Is it fake stuff that's coming out on the internet? Is it BS? Because now we have AI and all that stuff. But, like, you didn't have that in the 70s.
Yeah.
So what was the truth in the 70s? Did everything happen exactly how we thought it did? Like, have you ever gone back and read, we both lived through the early 2000s.
Yep.
But have you ever gone back and, read a book about the early 2000s? It sounds wild in the books. You almost think it's like a fictional novel.
But relative to now, like if you were if you're living through this right now that we're going through, and you go and read a book from the early 2000s, you're like, man, this is pretty mild.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? No, Bill Clinton, he might have shagged some lady in the White House. Who cares? Like, have you seen what's going on with Obama and Biden and Trump and all the other stuff that's happened after that? Like,
yeah,
it seems mild, and that's the thing about our culture now is it's progressively getting more and more crazy, and so we're all desensitized to everything else now that came prior that seemed like absolutely insane, like 9/11. You think of 9/11, like, does that seem like crazy now that we've been through all of this over the past, what that happened in 2002, 2003?
Yeah,
it's like, does that seem, after witnessing everything else after that, does that seem even implausible?
Yeah, it's like too much has happened. I saw this, there was a meme I saw one time, I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was like, oh, I feel bad for you or nobody fully understands millennials or something, because everybody else in life in past generations has had one or two things to live through that were bad, but then you get to millennials and it's you have the .com boom / bust of the early of
the
2000
Y2K.
Yeah, Y2K.
Uh-huh.
And then you have 9/11 in 2001, and then we go into a 20-year war, and then we freaking have 2008 where the housing market crashes.
Housing market.
And then 2016 Trump becomes president, things are going buck wild with politics and everything. Mm-hmm. And then you hit 2020 and now we have COVID and the whole world shut down and everybody loses their job and moves anywhere. It's like, fuck, dude, it's Monday.
Yeah. dude. You hit the nail on the head, dude. It's nothing surprises me anymore. I stay just as plugged into politics and the culture just as you. I watch some different podcasts than you, but it's nothing surprises me anymore.
No.
And it's
Well, and it's so bad too because there's so many bad things going on, but you're like,
yeah,
well,
it's
dude,
a,
I can't
it's a
take
Monday,
another
right?
bad thing that's happening. Like it's a Monday. Sorry, dude. But it's so sad because like there's like it's too much. Like everybody needs to be a little bit nicer, love each other, do something good for your, for the neighbor that you meet on the street. Even if they're not your neighbor, you don't know them. Be nice to somebody because you don't know what kind of a day they're having.
Yep. No, I totally agree. It's it's just
it's
wild.
weird living through this time. But was it just as crazy in the 60s when JFK got shot and the civil rights movement was going on? Was it the same? Did it also feel this insane? Or
well, so the JFK assassination, so I took this class in high school. One of my favorite teachers, he was the most winningest baseball coach in the state of Nebraska at the time. When I was taking this class, I think another school won a state championship in my junior year and took that title away from him. It doesn't matter though. At the time, he was the hitting coach at another high school, so
yeah,
he's a traitor. But him and another teacher made this class they called it Concepts, and it was all about JFK assassination, Watergate, Nixon, that whole era. We were just talking about 60s, right? And where was I going? Where was I going with this? I just had it. The JFK assassination.
Winningest coach in Nebraska history.
Yeah, I detrained myself. But what were you? So you brought up the JFK assassination?
Was it as crazy as it is now?
Right. Oh, yep. I got it. Okay, so pretty crazy, right? JFK gets assassinated, right? And so that video of the JFK assassination.
This is a Zapruder film.
Yeah. Could you legally obtain that in the United States?
I can't remember.
You could not. And I know this because of that class I was just talking about. This teacher went to Canada and illegally procured said real. It was 57 or 56 allegedly. I was not. Yeah, allegedly. Got the 56.
Mm-hmm.
All right, was it 56 or 54? You know what I'm talking about, like the size of the reel, right?
Yeah.
Of the time, and was able to review it, but legally you could not have that in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
The video of the president getting assassinated, you are not legally able to view that until like I think it became legal in because we actually ended up watching that reel that he obtained in Canada in the class. I think it became legal. I think it was like 30 years after, so like maybe in the 90s, they declassified that video. But the difference between then and now, right? With President Trump and Mr. Kirk, those videos.
Where it's out there like
right,
that.
Instantly on the internet, right? You can review it and see it. It's in the culture. It's there. But back in
it was easy
JFK,
to bury anything. You could get rid of stuff,
right?
Real easy.
And so it happened. It was probably on the news, the JFK assassination, right? And they probably didn't show that video, right? Because it was illegal to have at the time. It was just news outlets saying like, "Yep, the president was assassinated.
This is what happened. This is what the narrative is.
Yep.
This is the party line."
They might have had still frames at the time, maybe some videos that really didn't show much anything, but that one video that's now out there that everybody's seen wasn't available. It was illegal to have at the time, or nowadays it's just out there on the internet. So the culture back then, since it was easy to regulate what people saw, stuff like that stayed, it was shocking still, right? Instead of it just being on the internet for any, like I could look up the President Trump almost assassination or the Charlie Kirk thing on my phone right now. right now.
Yeah, it gives you access to everything.
Yeah, and so it just desensitizes everybody to all of it. So everything beyond that, now that we're desensitized to that, the next thing, next thing, and that keeps people on the other political side.
So you think it is crazier now than it was back then?
Oh,
Because we have
is.
more access to
Yep.
immediate information.
Because it desensitizes everybody to it, to all that stuff. And so now, if you want to make a statement, politically, or it doesn't matter what side you're on. If you want to make a radical political statement, now it's to the point to where just assassinating another political party pundit or whatever, it's almost not enough, because now the populace is desensitized to all of that. They're like, oh yeah, another person died. It's another Monday, right?
Yeah, it's just like the bar keeps getting raised,
right,
for like how much you're just immune to how bad things are. But I mean, that's the only way to change it is by loving each other.
No, I agree.
I think,
and the culture needs to definitely come back around. And being a Christian man, I think, I think going to church, I think that's the way. Those are the morals and ethics that this country was built on, and the only way to get back to it is if more people go to church. You could be Muslim, Jewish, Christian, go to church. It doesn't matter which one you are. You could be Hindu. I don't care. Go see. Go pray to your God. What you're trying to say
is be part of the community and be a good contributing factor.
Well, have skin in the game. You know what I mean? Don't be. I have a lot of secular friends out there, and I love them all, and they're good people. The secular friends that I call friends. But to the vast majority of populace, like, have some skin in the game. Get into your community. Go to church, be a part of that, because when you have skin in the game, that's when you start to have, you're scared of the repercussions of doing something bad, right? You want to be part of that community. You want to do good in that community. So you're going to do good things. You're going to go out there. You're going to go to the soup kitchen. You're going to go mow your neighbor's lawn. You're going to go, go help out at the farmer's market or at the high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, do something.
Have some skin in the game. Go to church. Be a part of the community. Because if you're just by yourself and you just go home every day and you're just secluded in your house, like, you don't have any skin in the game. You're not part of the community, so you're not worried about what's gonna, if I do this, is that gonna be good or bad for the community? If you're just in your house by yourself, you don't have any skin in the game. So
you want to make a positive impact,
right? Have a positive impact. Be a part of the community, because then you're gonna do good, because you have, like I said, skin in the game. I think that's how we kind of move forward and get away from how toxic and everything, politics and the culture has been over the past.
Yeah, like, let's have more conversations.
6 to 12 months. Oh yeah, I mean, having the conversation is a big thing. Like, I've told you, I'm scared of talking to, my friends back, in Omaha, about some of the things we've talked about this weekend. Even though I want to talk about them, I just, I fear that, they're going to, think worse of me, or.
Yeah, that's going back to the beginning of this whole thing.
Yeah.
You have to be objective. Don't be scared of being objective. Like, you got to be open-minded enough to say, like, I'm willing to put myself in your shoes and understand your side of the coin. Doesn't mean I have to agree with you, and it doesn't mean that I think you're right. But I got to be willing to at least hear you out, because maybe there's something that I'm missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that goes for everybody. If everybody was a little bit more open-minded and was willing to listen to each other, then you're going to get more of a conversation, more ideas are going to be shared, and you're going to understand each other better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, like, you shouldn't be scared of that. And, like, other people should be mature enough to have a level of respect for that.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It might be easier to say on like my secular friend side of things, because I know I don't know. I don't know. It's like I would love to have these conversations with them, like the conversations I've been having with you. Um, but I don't think, like, if I had these conversations, I don't think they would see eye to eye, and to have these, and be able to say, oh, I understand, but I disagree. We can still be friends. Some of these people I think would, not be my friends anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so, which is why I,
Don't say anything.
shy away
Yeah.
or don't say anything. And yeah.
The only thing that I would say about that is if you have to tone down your light as a person, like who you are, you might not be friends with the right people. But also, everybody has a season too. Like, just because you were friends with somebody when you were in middle school doesn't mean you're still friends. It's not that you have anything against them, but maybe you grew and went separate ways. You made separate decisions in life, and everybody's supposed to be there for a season because they're going to teach you something that's going to help you in your next season of life. But then also on the other side of the coin, if the people that you have around you are not helping you reach your fullest potential and like be who you need to be, who you're called to be, maybe they're not supposed to be your friends. And maybe it's not your responsibility to change them either, because you might just be the person in their season of life that is planting a certain seed, and then somebody else is supposed to take the next season.
Yeah, fair
I don't
enough.
know.
Yeah, and I guess what I always try and think about is, at the end of every Catholic mass is, go out, preach the word of the Lord, right? That's what the deacon says.
Mm-hmm.
And I try and take that a little more seriously every time I go to mass. And in an almost an ironic way, ever since Mr. Kirk's untimely death,
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to be more forward about my faith and try and put that more out there when I talk to my friends, right? I unironically say I have a golf group that usually the past 3 years we usually go golfing Sunday mornings,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, that's it's kind of a problem now, right?
Yeah.
And so I tell them, hey boys, like I'm out this week, I gotta go praise the Sky Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say a prayer for you. They kind of laugh it off and they think it's funny.
But it's important to you.
Yeah, it is, and that's why I say unironically. But to them, it's kind of ironic, because they think I'm joking and they think I'm not being as serious as I actually am trying to be serious, and that's kind of how I'm trying to get into like expressing that I'm a Christian man that I've always been. Right, ever since I was real little, I've always been scared about expressing that because all you hear is, all those darn Christians are always trying to convert everybody, and they're so annoying because they're always trying to get me to believe in Jesus, and I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that my secular friends come to when they have questions.
Sure.
Right, like you were asking me a bunch of questions about the Catholic Church. Obviously, I don't have all the answers, but I have some answers, and I have my own opinion, and I can help even somebody who's Christian who's not Catholic kind of possibly move closer to the Catholic Church, which I'm still working on that, whether you know it or not. I'll get you into RCIA
Pretty obvious.
soon.
Good luck.
I'll get you there. If but I'm just for my secular friends who have never expressed my religion to, and trying to negate some of that, always trying to move you over to Christianity, which I'm not gonna try and move them over to my faith.
You don't have to be pushy.
But I also want to express that I'm a Christian man, and put that into my morals and express that verbally to them, whether it be in just casual conversation, talking about the Sky Daddy, right? They think it's funny. That's why some of the secular people call you the spaghetti monster, right? And I'll slowly move into like, calling the Sky Daddy God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just kind of a transition over, so they're not so like, oh, Austin just
Well, I mean,
no
too
true
many people.
Scotsman, holier than thou, Christian. All of a sudden, I'm trying to slowly transition over there to
Just
being
be
able
au-
to express myself
just be
as
authentic, man. Just be yourself.
right.
Just too many people think that it's I don't know. I mean, I guess a lot of people over the years have been a little bit over pushy about it in, some people's experience. So like, I mean, whatever. Things happen. Some people are more passionate than others, and some people need different kinds of communication. Like if I'm going to approach you about selling you on X, that doesn't mean I'm going to turn around and go sell Sally the same exact way. You got to tailor it to everybody's communication style.
Right, and that's
But you're really good at that. You're a good communicator when it comes to a lot of things. You're very good at making people relax and just feel comfortable in the situation.
yeah, and I'm definitely not a salesman. I'm more of a technical.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like BS.
Well, if I think I'm trying to sell somebody something, like, I'm terrible at it.
Well, but you're only selling people on what you believe in. And you're very good at that. You're very good at selling people on golf. You're very good at talking to people about grass. Like, there's a lot of things that if you're passionate about it and you believe in it, it just kind of naturally flows.
You want to go through evaporative cooling again?
I mean, we could. That was that's pretty interesting. I don't think we have time though.
I'm somewhat of a scientist myself. But I mean, I know you're not very big in corporations, which is, so you don't like corporations, right?
Not really.
Okay, so that's a big spur in me trying to sell you on the Catholic Church, right? Because the Catholic Church is the longest running
Corporation.
organization, corporation, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
in history, in the world right now. And so it's going to make it a little tough.
No, not really.
But I mean, what corporation has, I made this argument to you last night. What corporation can withstand all the dumb stuff that the Catholic Church has done without completely folding right away? Right? There's, by the grace of God, right, it's still standing because this is the church that Jesus built. And being able to be a part of something that's lasted so long is part of why I decided to convert and join, because there's so much history to it, and I love history. I love looking back on all that. You can track all the saints all the way back to St. Peter, and it's cool to be a part of something that's lasted since it started in antiquity.
Yeah, you're a part of something much larger than yourself.
Right, and also one of the cool things about the Catholic Church is no matter which one you go to, you can go to Italy right now and go to a Catholic church, or you go to Germany, you go to Russia, Catholic church, the Missal, right? Every Sunday, every mass follows that Missal. And so regardless of what Catholic church you go to, you're going to get the same message regardless. And so you kind of get some, you kind of know what's coming, right? And you get that, I guess I don't know what to call it, but structure. You get that structure, right? Regardless of what church you go to. But if you go to like a Presbyterian or Methodist, right, it's going to be a different message, regardless, depending on which one you go to that Sunday. This one gives you the same one every single Sunday. They have a calendar that runs through.
Sure.
We're in ordinary time right now. We had the, which was kind of nuts, after Kirk's untimely demise. We had the Sunday right after that was the Exaltation of the Cross, the Feast of the Exaltation of the Cross. It's right smack dab in the middle of ordinary time. And the message for the Exaltation of the Cross is to essentially not suppress your faith. Is to go out there and exclaim it, which was almost too good after that all happened. Like it was the perfect message, and that has been on the calendar for years and years and years. We knew the Exaltation of the Cross was going to be on this date,
right?
And it was the perfect message for for Catholics, and hopefully some of the Methodist and Orthodox churches also had that message that day, because it kind of it helped me out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Very interesting timing.
Yeah. But I'll get you at RCIA. It's not called RCIA anymore. I forgot what it's called.
What did RCIA stand for?
Rite of Catholic Initiation for Adults.
What is it now?
I don't know. They changed it a couple years after I went through it. But essentially it's like 7-8 months long. It's once a week, like 2 hours. And
you need a sponsor.
You need a sponsor, which you have one here. You married one.
Mm-hmm.
My wife she wasn't my wife at the time, but I went through RCIA right before we got married, and ended RCIA like 2 weeks before we got married, so I could actually be Catholic and have a full Catholic ceremony when we got married.
Nice.
Instead of having all the extra, if I was a Catholic, well, you went through, you have to sign stuff saying I'm going to raise my kids Catholic through the Catholic Church and all that stuff. Yeah, it's, I don't know. Erin, when I said I was going to do it, she said, well, don't just do it because of me. I said, well, if this brings me, 1% closer to God, would it be worth it? And she stopped asking me after that. She goes, all right, you got me, and so I, went for it, and, and I feel like,
oh, good for you, man. I feel like it's had a positive impact on your life.
Dude, I knew 100%. There have been times in my life where I've really questioned my faith. I don't think I needed, this isn't good for my argument to get you an RZIA, but I don't think I needed to be Catholic to be more of the faith.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's helped tremendously, especially the way my family and her family is structured, especially her family, who, being all Catholic. It's helped me kind of bond with them,
mm-hmm.
Be a part of the community, right? Having skin in the game. And so I'm still glad I did it. I said it's brought me closer to my in-laws. I think they respect that I did it. I think my brother-in-law Adam, I think maybe realizes maybe that's why he's doing it. And hopefully that's not the only reason why he's doing it. Hopefully he's doing it because he wants to be closer to God and further his faith. But I mean, I guess my argument to somebody like you would be, why not? If it brings you, 1% closer to God and strengthens your faith 1% more, wouldn't it be worth it to do?
Potentially.
There you go. That would be my argument. that would be my closing statement on my argument on trying to get you into the Catholic Church.
I mean, I'm not opposed to learning more things. I like asking questions.
Well, and while I was going through RCA too, there was one deacon, and he unfortunately has passed away. Deacon Lyle, what's his name? He told us his story like the third or fourth night in, and the short story is, he really wasn't that much of a man of God. And so every Sunday, him and his wife, who he married, who was Catholic, he'd be sitting there getting ready for football to start, and his kids would, be all dressed up, ready to go. And was Dad coming this time? His wife would be like, nope, Dad's staying here, staying here. And then, one time it, finally, once kids were old enough, to understand what's kind of going on. I don't remember exactly what he said his kids said, but it hit him pretty good, to where like, man, am I really leading this family?
Mm-hmm.
His kids were like 5-7 years old at the time.
Sure.
And it really kind of got him. And so he started going with them to Mass, obviously not taking communion with everybody because he wasn't, Catholic yet.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually he went through RCIA and became Catholic. He converted. He felt a lot closer to his family, and eventually, the priest approached him and said, hey, we think you would make an excellent deacon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I would ever be a deacon. I know we've been talking about leading your community lately, and so maybe that's something I should think about. But at the moment, me being a deacon's probably not the best option. But Deacon Lyle, he ended up being a deacon, and was a lot closer to his family because of it. And I don't know, that whole part with him saying, his kids saying something as they're on their way out, just kind of you just kind of hit him right in the heart. All of a sudden, it was like, man,
Kids, man, they'll do that to you.
and yeah, and me being a part now, I know my little boy doesn't really understand what's going on right now, but being there to hopefully lead him in his faith, even though, I really don't think you should have to be Catholic to be able to lead your family in the faith, but that's just kind of how it works.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm better for it because I can kind of, I don't know, I'm part of the community, right? Like I have skin in the game, I should have left it off on the other one because I had a really good ending on that last one. I should have stopped.
No,
But
you did good. It's a good argument.
The Deacon Lyle, man, man, I wish you could have met. He's just salt of the earth, dude. Like one of us. I mean, he was kind of a bigger guy, but
nobody can dispute there's some really nice people in the Catholic Church that have very positive impacts on the community.
yeah, and before I was Catholic, I mean, I thought all the Catholic people were snobby. Put your nose up to you people. Didn't think twice about anybody else who was Catholic. They're just all for themselves. And then I met my wife and her family, and I was like, oh man, these people are actually pretty nice.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's bad apples in every group. Not every basket's gonna be full of the right stuff.
Yeah, don't judge a people by some of the first people you meet for sure.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
100%.
Definitely read the back though.
Yeah. Yeah, see who wrote that thing. See if they got a comb over or not. Shout out to Tolkien.
Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for being our guest, man. It's always a pleasure having you, and I think we should definitely do this again.
Yeah, the plane tickets might be a hindrance, but thanks to the internet, if this goes well, or maybe we'll try it again. Who knows? But
Well, you come back on. We'll have you on again.
Yeah, sure. 100%.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.